Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. I am McKenna and I am so excited to be chatting today with you about how to become a spin instructor, which I have been a spin instructor for probably 6 years. So I feel like I'm great on as someone to chat about this with you. And I made this video probably 4 years ago and it was the best performing video on my YouTube channel. So I know you guys are very much interested in this. I don't know if my subscribers are really interested in this, but if you're new here and just discovering me, I post a lot of vlog, lifestyle, fitness content. I do own and run an online fitness app where I coach virtually, where I coach bar, spin, and like strength training type of stuff. So if you want to join me there, you can totally check it out. I'll link it below. It's called Busy and Balanced on the App Store. It's both on Google and on Apple if you want to check me out. The fitness space, I was in the fitness space for a long time, and then I had babies and I kind of left the group fitness space and I started doing my own thing because I wanted to be at home. So I branched off, and I can make another video on how to create like a virtual studio. That's actually on my to-do list. I would love to show you guys how I film, record, upload, and what platform I use for my online coaching space. But that'll be a different video for another day. Today, I have a list of notes on my phone that I want to chat about how to become a spin instructor if that is something that you're wanting to do. I feel like 4 or 5 years ago, spin classes were like all the hype. I feel like they still are now, but like with the pandemic hitting and like boutique fitness just really getting dragged through the mud during that time, I feel like a lot of people went to working out at home and have stayed working out at home. So I feel like it's just kind of a different world than it was when I was teaching in person. But one day I would love to go back and coach in person. And maybe that's why it feels different, because I'm just not in that world anymore. Anyways, enough chitty chat. I want to dive right into all of the tips that I have for you on how to become a spin instructor. First things first, I am speaking from rhythmic basing spin instructing. So if you're going and you're teaching just based off of RPM and not following a beat, it could be a little bit different. I would say a lot of it is probably the same, but things might be a little bit different case by case, because I taught to the rhythm for the whole time that I've been teaching spin. So I will be kind of catered towards that. First things first is master rhythm. Rhythm is something that is hard to teach. So you have to know that before you audition to become a spin instructor. Writing to the beat, you'll know what I'm talking about, like the downbeat. If you know what I'm talking about, you are in the music space and you have rhythmicality, probably. I played a musical instrument for a long time, so I know musicality. When you're in a spin class, it's the downbeat. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of a thing. When you're writing in a spin class to the rhythm, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because the instructor will be cueing that. And that is so important. If you want to teach to the rhythm, you have to know the rhythm. So I would start listening to music and start listening to the downbeat. Start playing music in the car and listening to the downbeat. I remember when I first started teaching spin classes, I would be driving in my car and like practicing even like cueing and instructing. We can chat more about that later, but I would listen to the downbeat in music. I would listen to that 1, 2, 3, 4 count or whatever. So you want to make sure that you master the rhythm before you even audition, before you even talk about auditioning, because that is something that cannot be taught. You kind of just have to find it for yourself. So like a master instructor or a senior instructor is not going to be able to teach you that. So that would be the first thing I would recommend. Develop a strong sense of rhythm by practicing writing to the beat of various genres, like all different kinds. We're talking pop, hip hop, rap, country. You want to be able to teach to a diverse musicality like bass. So definitely practice to a lot of different things, not just EDM music. Practice counting to the beat and understanding musical phrases such as like an 8 count, kind of like what I was counting. I think generally I've gone to like a 4 count, but essentially music is in an 8 count. So you can sync choreo pretty seamlessly that way. And then I would start like creating playlists. I would start just like get Spotify or whatever, Apple Music, whatever it is that you use, and start creating playlists of songs that like inspire you, get you hyped, to make you excited to teach spin. And I would start like saving those like maybe different playlists, even like sprints, all outs, kind of just what you think. Obviously, like when you get on an actual team, they're going to teach you how they want you to teach a class, but just, start getting an understanding for different music. Then you want to start building strength and stamina. and technique. So you want to get into classes and you want to start writing. Like if you're not writing in classes right now, but you want to teach spin and you don't have that much experience in a spin class, you need to get into some classes, whether it be online. Shameless shout out. You can take some of my spin classes. They're all rhythm. You can start observing my classes, but also I know Equinox works with Soul Cycle. They have an online app. It's like $40 a month. So does Peloton. I'm not as familiar with Peloton. I don't know if they ride to the rhythm. I think that they do, but I don't know. I know that Equinox, Soul Cycle does, and they are kind of like the lead in the industry, I would say, with like spin classes. So definitely check them out. I know there's like tons of franchises of Cycle Bar. I think Flywheel is no longer a thing, but Flywheel was. If they're still around, you can check out Flywheel. There's like a lot of spin classes. Sometimes like, what is it, LA Fitness and stuff like that does have some spin classes, but I don't think that they're rhythm based. So you'll just have to check that out for yourself. That's still going to help you build stamina and strength, which is something that you're going to need. You're going to need to be a strong instructor. In order to talk and cue while you're teaching, you're going to need to be able to ride on the bike yourself and keep up and talk. It is like a lot of work, and you have to be able to make it look seamless and easy. And it's not always easy, but you have to be able to make it appear that way. So definitely train consistently, build that stamina, build your strength, build your endurance, and focus on proper form. I have a video, I believe, on YouTube. If not, there's one in my app on proper form. You just want to make sure that you have proper form. Every studio might teach form a little bit different because the bikes might be a little bit different. So maybe just Google the proper form on the bike that you're using. Overall, they should pretty much be the same though. Create dynamic playlists. We kind of talked about this. Just start like creating playlists that evoke emotion, motivation, energy, supporting like the flow of a class. I think it's good to just have a musical base or music to pull from under your belt before you even start teaching. I had that before I started teaching spin because I taught bar and it was rhythm-based music. So I knew a ton of music, a ton about music, a ton of like how to make a good playlist before I even went into teaching spin because of my background. So I would just like start playing around with that, kind of like what feels like a good warm-up song, what feels like a good like cool down song versus like various RPMs, BPMs, they're the same thing, but whatever you call it. Develop a teaching style. So I would start to teach to people, whether it's your friends, you have your friends over, go to a gym, practice talking to them, cueing them, and commanding a room. That is something that can be very hard for people. It is hard to public speak or command a room and teach people a class. So even I'm sitting in my garage in my car because my whole house is napping right now. My husband's napping, my 2 babies are napping, and I was just like, I'm going to come out in the car and film this video rather than do it inside because there's somebody pretty much in every single room napping right now, and I don't want to wake anyone. I'm sitting in my garage. With all that being said, over on the side, I have like a studio space set up out here where I record classes, and sometimes I'll have my sisters over or friends over and I'll just teach a class. If you want to have your friends over to your house, teach a little stretch flow, just practice talking and commanding a room. That is going to help you so much because if you're not used to like telling people what to do and how to feel, how they should be feeling when they're taking your class, that's something that could be worked on, and I would work on before you audition to become like a spin instructor of any kind, or an instructor in general, I would say. Practice speaking on and off a mic. Like I'm talking to this mic right now. You could even get a fake little mic and pretend like you're talking into it. This is a mic that I use when I'm teaching like my strength classes at home. I have like a legit spin instructor mic that I use and I talk into. I don't think that you actually need that. Just like pretend that you're talking into a mic, commanding a room on and off the bike. Even practice like commanding a room when you're actually working out. So whether that be on or off a bike, even if you're just like doing squats, practice teaching people if you're riding, like squatting to the beat and teaching them to the beat, if that makes sense. Hopefully that does. And embrace your like own unique personal style of teaching. Like when I command a room, it's going to look a lot different than somebody else commanding a room. Like I want people to feel like, hey, I'm there with you. I'm struggling with you. This is something that we're in it together. We're doing this together. I want it to feel like I'm talking with you. I'm like encouraging you in like a loving and hugging way. That's like my personal style to teach. And some people like to be yelled and screamed at. And maybe that's your style of teaching. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a time and a place for it. There's people for it. So find your own personal style on how you instruct. And I would start really leaning into that. And when you go to audition for a class, just really lean into that. So You want to be true to yourself and be who you are. Start understanding class structure. This is really good. So if you have a spin studio that you're thinking about auditioning for, go to that spin studio and take as many classes as you possibly can and start noticing how their class is formatted. Every single spin studio that I have taken a class at has a format. Most boutique studios have a format that they follow. Even like when I taught at Bar 3, they have a sequence to their class on how every single class is structured. It's structured with a warm-up, legs, a combo. I don't want to give their whole thing away, but like legs, glutes, and then a cool down. Like every single class is structured a certain way. I know for Cycle Bar, they have a 12-song sequence where it's, again, 3 songs are a warm-up. Then they have like a little jog, a heavy hill, like a lighter hill climb. Flat road. The same sequence in every single class is given. And I think they have like a couple different sequences that you can bounce between. But overall, all like boutique studios follow the same sequence. So as you start to take class, you're going to start to notice, hey, their Connect class is always formatted this way. Hey, their Heavy Hills class is generally always formatted this way. And when you take my classes on my app, I have a sequence that I follow too that I made up. So it's like you'll start to notice when you take class, lean into that sequence that they're teaching, and then you're going to have like a deeper understanding when you go to audition and you're talking to the studio owner. Hey, I want to audition. You're going to know what you're talking about because you're going to understand their sequence, which is going to be like impressive to them that you've paid close enough attention. Connect with writers. So if you are wanting to audition for a specific studio and you show that you're a part of the community and you like are involved in what they're doing and you like know the writers there and you're like friends with them, that is also going to be impressive to the studio owner because building connection is going to build a larger fan base and also like a larger writing base, and people are going to want to come to your class, especially when you do pass the audition and you do start training and you do teach a community free class, or maybe it's not free, I don't know, but you teach a community class. Those writers are gonna be like, oh my gosh, I rode with this person before they were instructor. Like, I want to go take their class, and they're gonna be hyping you up, your number one fan. So definitely make some friends and connect with their community. Getting certified is a hit or miss though. So some studios will require a certification. I personally would not recommend you go out and get a certification without chatting with the studio owner of where you want to teach, because I know like Soul Cycle, Cycle Bar, even like outside of cycling, Bar 3, other places like that, they want to teach you themselves and they don't care about a certification. Now with like Orange Theory, on the other hand, you need to be personally trained, or you need to be a certified personal trainer with either like ACE, NASM, whatever. I coached at Orange Theory for like 3 years and I am a certified personal trainer. I still keep up on that. And that's something that I have. And I needed to become an Orange Theory coach, but I don't need the personal training certification for spin, bar. I don't need a spin instructor certification for teaching at, say, Cycle Bar or whatever. They want to teach you themselves. So I wouldn't waste your money. I wouldn't waste your time on getting a spin certification elsewhere until you talk to the owner and seeing what they actually want, because usually they're going to want to teach you themselves. So heads up, don't waste your time. Perfect your coaching cues is what I have written down. Start listening to other instructors and how they cue classes and how they count in and count out and command a room. And you can take some of those. You can learn from them and take some of those cues and start practicing on them with your friends. And you'll listen. The way instructors cue a class is really like commanding a room is like an art, you know. It can be a really big struggle for some people, and it can be really hard, and it's not for everyone. So start paying attention to how people command a room and what you like and what you don't like, and take their cues and practice with them and use them, and you can piggyback off them and use them yourself. I would say another thing is to stay humble. That's something that I actually have written down. I said, stay consistent and stay humble and keep learning. So nobody wants to hire on a know-it-all. If you are taking all of these classes and you're learning their sequence in and out and you have it down to a T, it's impressive to the owner to know that, but you don't want to act like you know it all, because nobody wants to hire somebody who thinks they have it in the bank, especially if you've like come from another spin studio and you're trying to move to a new one and you're trying to say you're going from Cycle Bar to Soul Cycle or something like that. They don't want to know it all. They don't want somebody to take all the knowledge they brought from Cycle Bar to Soul Cycle, because they're not the same thing. They want to teach you their own thing, and they want to start from a clean slate. And it's just great to have those the bass, like the musicality, the practice on the mic, the stamina and the strength of being a spin instructor already. But everything else, like they want to teach it themselves. And so don't come in being a know-it-all, especially if you have a certification from like a previous like spin instructor certification. Put that in your back pocket, remember it, bring it with you, but don't act like a know-it-all when you're learning from these other people. People just like master instructors and senior instructors don't want to know it all. They want somebody who is teachable. And that goes with like any job. That goes with fitness. That goes with literally any job, not even fitness. Nobody likes a know-it-all, and nobody wants someone who's not teachable. So just make sure you're very teachable. I'm going to go through my notes and like see if I missed anything. Overall, I think just like taking feedback is super, super important. I'm thinking about coming out with like a whole spin instructor course, like how to ride to the rhythm. Even though I said that's something that can't be taught, I can still like give you tips and tricks on like how to do those things. And I'm thinking about coming out with a whole, like I literally have notes on notes on notes on like spin instructor class formats, like my own. Maybe I'll like not gatekeep here and give you guys my whole sample spin class formatting and everything like that. I don't know. I'm thinking about coming out with more videos. Either I can do those on YouTube or I can do them in like a password protected course. I don't really know how I'm going to do that, just depending on the feedback I get from here. If you guys are interested in that and it will do well on YouTube, I'm like happy to not gatekeep all that stuff. I think overall I would just practice your form. I would talk to the spin studio owner and ask them, just like flat out ask them, hey, I would love to work for you. How can I do that? What's the next steps that I need to do that? And show them that you are motivated, you are excited, you are wanting to learn, and I think they're going to be very impressed with you. I think that you're going to slay. I think you're going to do awesome. I would love to hype you up. So if you do plan on auditioning anywhere, let me know when. I would love to hear your story and how it goes. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and obviously subscribe here on YouTube and follow along on my own spin instructor journey. I am McKenna Ashcroft on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and I'm so thankful for you guys that you're here. I hope you subscribe. I hope you join this little corner of my internet, or of the internet, where I post vlogs pretty regularly. So I also like posting these sit-down chatty videos though. So I'm so glad that you're here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.